Hey, Matt here with University of Surfing. I want to go over grafting today. So for me, an ideal grafted host is probably about 14 inches long. This one's more like 24. But I noticed right in the middle there's a crack. And that crack is going to be messed up if this plant gets much bigger. So I'll just use that as my base point. Take my nice Japanese knife here and cut through this. These are really old Vietnamese whites that I've been rooting since last year, and I got about 50 of them. I've already grafted half and I have half left. The other half will be for when this first season of growth stops. Alright, so there is my cambium. See the brown spot? That's from the crack. So I'm gonna go a little deeper. I'm gonna clean my knife. Excuse the airplane noise. No more brown. So then I'm going to take my super cool T1170 and there is some new growth on the base. Oops, right there. And that new growth can be a much longer second stage for this plant. This is kind of small, and I'd rather have one that's much longer. So I can actually take this piece and remove the small piece, or excuse me, the bigger piece, the old one. Now that it is spring, these things are growing like crazy. And that little teeny knob will probably be up here in 6 weeks. So, and even cooler, not cooler, but just as cool, is super rare, apparently I believe super cool plant. I now have two because I'm gonna graft that. Alright, so I use what I call the spine graft. What I'm gonna do is take the cambium and put that white spot inside of this cambium, right in that middle soft spot. And because this is such an old plant, it's got a hard edge and a soft middle. Sometimes it's easier to do it on a nice young host, but these old ones that have the nice hard middle, as long as you can match them, work out perfectly. So what I want to do, dirt out of the way, is take my beautiful grafting knife. Thank you, Tommy Joy. This one isn't serrated, so it doesn't cut through the thick cores, but this one will do all the other stuff. So what I'm going to do is take get my host out of the way. Let me see, not really. There we go. Take this guy, and I want to make a bigger surface than this match my host. So I'm going to go cut a little off. Not straight. Alright, now I have a nice flat surface that I'll put on my host. Now what I need to do is cut off. Careful, don't cut through the cambium. About 1/2 inch. Moving. Uh-oh. I sliced it. Failure. Here we go. Try this again. So if you can't get this to work, it means your cutting is too young and you just do a flat graft. Lots of people love the flat graft. I don't know why I love this other one. I think it just seems to be stronger and I have more of them take than anything else. No movement. There. get it nice and sterilized. Piece hanging off the edge, I want to cut off. So now I have a nice spine cambium. So what I want to do is find a drill bit that matches that. Something like this. Clean my drill bit. Take my host, which looks a little gross. Oh, that's not my host, that's the cutting from the host. There we go, host. So I'm going to take this and put it right in the middle of that hole. Close. A little more. Don't want to go too deep. Now I'm going to try it out. Find whichever end is flat. Match that with the flat end of this. Oh, perfect. There we go. So now I'm going to take tape. I usually try and have my tape prepped before I do this. But with a good spine graft, it really doesn't matter because it holds. Now I'm going to take my tape. Make it really secure to the bottom. Line up my top. And tape it up. Ideally, to have a tape dispenser here. So I just want to line them up. So I manually turn it. They are so flexible. Pretty much do whatever you want. They're definitely the easiest plants I've ever dealt with. And I haven't dealt with many besides these and plumerias. Plumerias are a pain in the arse. Dragon fruits have been awake for a month and the plumerias aren't even awake yet. Although we are starting to get some shiny tips. So, these two are not lined up. See, notice how they're off. So what I'm going to do is just fix that. Go horizontal. Just pull it over. Push it on the other side. There we go. And then I usually like to put it in some nice water for 24 hours, and then I'll put it in soil and take the tape off in 2 weeks. You can usually tell in a couple days if it takes, but at least 7 days, up to 2 weeks. No rush, but you don't want to leave the tape on forever. Definitely don't leave it on longer than a month. You'll know within a couple weeks. If it doesn't work, you'll see brown spots on both sides. But now this tip has all 1 year's worth of power from this cutting below it. And remember this small Vietnamese white. This plant used to be giant. So all this energy, it used to go into a giant plant. And now it's just going into 1, 2, 3, 12 tips or something. And I can go through and snip all these off if I wanted to, but now that it's still cold, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So if anything grows, I'll just pop off the growth in the VW. Anywho, if that helps, happy grafting. Try it. It's really easy. The reason I first started is I broke a plant, but I've definitely done lots of grafts, and I'd say most of them take now. All right, here it is on the heat mat overnight for a day or two, and then I will take it out, plant it in my growing medium, just like sand, perlite, peat moss, biochar. Oh, and then I'll put it over here somewhere safe, like all these guys, and then 2 weeks later, I will take it off, and it'll turn into a super graft like that.